Hello everybody, welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is Dimp Digital's weekly video games podcast. You've got myself, Apps, here, running the operations as usual. And I'm joined this week by Mark Smith Biff. Biff, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good.
Well, you were complaining before you come on. Your exact words was, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, so don't expect anything good. And
your exact response was, I'm hungover, so don't worry. So, between the two of us,
it's going to be a disaster. But yeah, I'm hungover. I drank too much, so it is poison, that stuff, and I'll never learn. But you are here to talk about 3 very specific subjects.
Yep.
I wanted to catch up with you on the realms of PlayStation VR because we heard your initial thoughts after a few days, and obviously you were blown away by it. It was all hyped up, and you know, with things like this, it's easy to get sucked in early doors, and you look towards whether it's going to stand the test of time. How long have you had it now? Is it a month and a bit? 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that? 6 weeks?
Yeah,
maybe?
about 6 weeks, I think it is.
Yeah. So, how is the PlayStation VR experience? Is it still... Are you still as excited to play it, or have you not put it on as much as you thought? Where have we been going with it?
I mean, I ain't put it on in 2 weeks, to be honest. This is the problem. If you don't release any games for it, it ain't going to get played.
No.
And I remember when I first come on one of these podcast things, when I bought the PS4, I moaned that they released the PS4, Killzone and Knack. That was about it.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem with this. There's just like Batman, and there's a couple of games, but nothing that you actually really want to play. And when they're charging 50 quid for it, you think, how long is it going to last? Is it, you know?
Yeah.
There's a game coming out called Journey, Robinson the Journey.
Yep.
That's 50 quid at the moment. That's not a particularly long game. It's not got particularly good reviews.
No. It's also, just to chap your arse even more, it's cheaper in the United States. So for some reason, it's like $40 over there, which is like almost half price. It's normally $60, whereas over here they're charging full whack for it. So I don't know what's going on there. Brexit.
Well, Trump, innit? That's what you can do. As soon as he comes in, he said, "I'm going to lower all PlayStation games." Not that he's in yet, but you know.
No, he'll be in later next year. So yeah, so you actually it's the lack of games. So you haven't gone back to play any of the other stuff that you had, like the Batmans. But I suppose you can only play through it once, and then you've done it, haven't you?
I mean, I've played through Batman twice, but it only lasts like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's a couple of riddles you can find. You know, I found a few of them. There's like 2 or 3 I need to find, but the replayability isn't there. The same as that Gangs of London. What's it called?
Yeah,
London Heists.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but once you've done it, it's sort of dead in the water. I did buy that Dawn. Oh, sorry, my brain's
Rush
not
of
working.
Blood.
Rush of Blood. That's it. I bought that, but it's nowhere near as
Dawn.
good. Until Dawn, that's it. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as Heists.
So what is Rush of Blood? It's a shooting game essentially, isn't it? So you use the motion controls, and you're on like from what I've seen, it looks like you're on a like a fairground ride, like roller coaster.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're like in a little cart that goes on a roller coaster, and it goes round, and then you shoot. But you have to have your arms locked in a straight position at all times. You can't bend your arms, otherwise because on the game you have 2 arms in front of you and they're locked straight, so you have to reenact their arms.
Oh. And
then after about 20 minutes, it's like you've done a workout. You can't lift your arms up anymore.
So hang on, I don't get it. So you have to hold your arms out straight. Will it not track if you bend your arms then, or is it?
It doesn't. The arms are always. It's weird. I can't believe they've like okayed it.
Does it feel like is it intentional? Or does it feel like it's pissed?
No, it's intentional. Like they've done it like that, but I can't believe nobody in the office when they made it went, you know what, my arms are fucked. We really should get it to bend. But they don't. They just stay straight. And you can bend your arms obviously in real life, but then it fucks it up on the game. It doesn't look right, and it doesn't shoot straight, and that. So it's proper weird. Yeah. But yeah, that's not a lot of cop.
Not a glowing review for that one. Is it a long game, or is it? Have you completed it even?
No, I haven't completed it. I haven't got the stamina. No, it's quite. I think I put about. Well, not that long. 2 hours into it, and I ain't completed it yet.
More than most games on the VR.
I mean, it's only 15 quid, I think it was. So it ain't the end of the world for 15 quid. But yeah, But like you say, like I was saying, there's just I haven't played it as much because there's just nothing out at the moment. So I'm not really interested in anything. Eagle, there's a game with Eagle and you fly around like an eagle.
Yeah, not interested.
Not interested in that. And then it's still the rest that just seem to be like Valkyrie and bits like that where you're sitting in the tank. I downloaded the Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah.
The free PSVR for that, like the VR game. That was again the same, sitting in a space shuttle, fly around shooting stuff. But yeah, not a great game.
So is that a paid game or is that a free little?
No,
demo you had?
that was free. That was free. Right. Just like one level, but that again, that's like 15 minutes long.
Yeah, but that's what you're getting out of it. So looking forward, the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that might have been interest of you, again, it's going to be sitting in a spaceship shooting, is the Star Wars Battlefront VR.
Yeah, that's something that. Yeah, that's something that does interest me. Again, it is the same thing, but because it's Star Wars, I like Star Wars, so it sort of gets bonus points for that alone.
Yeah,
but I think that's free as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you've got Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront, sorry.
Yeah.
You get it. I think you get it for free, which I've still got that line about somewhere. So hopefully I'll download that when it comes out.
Don't know how that hasn't made your trade pile been binned off, to be honest.
No, I don't either. It's scraping. It's in there by the scrape of its teeth. That's not even a sentence. But.
Nah, it'll stay in. I saw Battlefront for £10 the other day.
Probably why I've traded it in, because it's probably not even worth the petrol money to go up to a game and get it traded.
No, you're probably right there. So I asked you this question towards the back end of our conversation with PlayStation VR to start with, and what do you want? What you after from this, or do you not really know still? Is it just more?
Just games, just more games, just something to play, like
better or just more.
I mean, Batman is really, really good. I've really enjoyed playing that, and even though it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, it's really, really good. But I just want games that, like a proper game, like a £50 game that's like a 35-hour campaign, or a 30-hour campaign sort of thing that's got stuff to do in it. It will take you a long time to do, not a £50 game that's 3-4 hours long and get shit reviews.
Yeah. Are you going to consider getting Robinson Journey if it drops in price?
I might do, yeah, but it'll be after Christmas when the January sale sort of thing. I point blank refuse to pay £50 for that. Like, from what I've seen, it doesn't look amazing.
No. How much would you be willing to pay for it? What sort of price are we gonna?
£20, probably 25.
25. I'll let them know. I'll send them an email.
Right.
See if they can pull some strings of the sort of weight that we've got here. Have a big influence on the industry. You listened to Mr. Salmon's thoughts on the HTC Vive, and he's probably had it around maybe a week less than you. Do you think? Because he was still keen a few weeks on. Do you feel like you're? Why is that? Is the question. I mean, the kit is obviously a bit different. It's a much more expensive piece of kit. Well, it's not really. Sometimes, depending where you buy it from, you've got his second hand. But do you think it's just he's more receptive to those type of games, and you're a fusspot, like we all know you are?
No, when I listened to it, he just had like a smorgasbord of games he was going through, and he was saying, "Oh, Serious Sam and Steam, and there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that, and it's cheap and free, and they're doing it half price, and I'm paying £50 for a game, or £30 for a game, or 25 or 15, and I can't afford to do it is one thing. I've just had the outlay of a fucking VR headset, so to then go out and buy 4, 5, 6 games that are like retailing from 15 to 50 is quite hard. So I think he just seemed happier because he had more to play. So it's just a lack of play opportunity, really. Are you worried about it at all, that it's just going to end up being trashed? Or do you still believe that this platform will get what you need out of it? I mean, I am a little bit worried because when we done we went to EGX and I played it. The games that are out now were pretty much all announced then. There's not like something that's come out in the last 2 years that I thought, oh wow, that'd be really good. I mean, it's a game called Farpoint. That's coming out. That looks really good, and I'm quite excited about that. That's the game I'm most excited about VR. But I am sort of a bit gutted by it, because I really thought they would have really gone to town and made loads of games for it. But I don't know I've not really looked into what the sales have been like. But if the sales obviously ain't that good on the PSVR, they won't make games for it, will they? I mean, that is the trouble with it. It's always
a worry with new tech as to whether it'll take off.
Yeah.
I have to see. I mean, it's a difficult space. It's really tricky as well. I find it easier to look at a game, a normal game, if we call it that, and know whether I like it or not. Whereas with VR, I just think it's a mixed bag. You don't know how it's going to control. You don't know how well calibrated it's going to be. You don't know whether you're going to enjoy it, whether it's going to make you sick. There's all these variables that you don't get with a typical game, is there?
Yeah, you are right with that. And like you say, it's dependent on the individual as well. Some people feel sick from some games, some people don't feel sick from others, and you have got to take those into account. So it is a bit of a gamble, but just a bit disappointed that there's not as many games out for it at the moment, and the ones that are all seem to be quite sort of similar. There's not really anything that's changing the game.
So we look at Farpoint. I don't think we know what that's going to retail for yet. But do you have if it comes out £50, is that going to be point blank, no chance, or is it going to be look at the reviews and see what they're saying and then maybe, or is it, I'll get it, whatever? I
mean, there's different factors to this Farpoint, because Farpoint comes with a gun. You have to buy a gun.
Oh, right.
So I don't know if that comes with the game. I don't know if you have to buy that separately.
Yeah.
So that plays into it. But it's a game that you sort of need to buy this gun, this plastic gun that you hold, to play it and get the most out of it.
Right. So you want the accessory.
Yeah, if you play it with a controller, I don't even know if you can play it with a controller, but I assume you must be able to.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be the same. It's just pointless. It'll just be like playing Call of Duty on a VR headset. It defeats the object of it. But yeah, that's something I'm really interested in. I would be willing to pay sort of top money for that if it's as good as sort of what it is in my head.
Yeah.
But have I painted too good a picture? We'll find out.
Yeah. Obviously you've been looking at reviews for some of the games. Have many of them mentioned a motion sickness element to it, or is it not really been spoken about? Like you said, because it is different for each person. It must be.
Yeah, it's not really been spoken about in a lot of the reviews, I don't think. Not that I've noticed, but I mean, not that I've noticed. I can't remember reading anything saying, PS, be aware, this could make you hurl your guts up, sort of thing.
Well, I mean, hopefully there's some more games and you can have some more positive opinions. It sounds like it's waned slightly.
Yeah, it hasn't been. Yeah,
it's sat there for 2 weeks and hasn't been picked up. But it is brand new, so it might take a while for people to get in the swing of it. And we've been saying that about the PlayStation 4 for years, and has that really got in the swing of it? Well, we'll find out, but I think you could say no still, because the next two subjects we're going to talk about are remasters. So where are these new games? We've had Uncharted 4, which I think we all enjoyed, but you've been not forced, but you've gone out and bought 2 remasters, and we go all full circle back to when we first were chatting. You mentioned that there's a lot of remasters going about, and then you've gone and bought into it.
Yeah, this is the problem, because they sort of trap you between a rock and a hard place. You think, there's nothing to play. Oh, they're taking the piss. They're sort of just keep remastering everything. I've got nothing to play. I'll go and get a remaster. That's basically what the cycle is at the moment for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about BioShock Remaster. It's BioShock the Collection, it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that contains, as far as the remaster goes, this is what you want, isn't it? You want, if it's a series, you want all of them. And this gives you BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite, all on one disc for you to play.
And all the DLC for all games.
Oh yeah, and all the DLC, which we'll get onto if you played them, but they are meant to be quite good. In plenty of them anyway. So if you look at like BioShock, I mean, when was that released? 2007? That's nearly 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I know that's your favourite out of the 3. So we'll start there and we'll go through them chronologically and touch on all of them. But 2007 is when it was released. And I remember playing the demo, or getting it off Xbox 360 and playing it and being just blown away by the visuals for one thing, like the water effects and just the mood and the atmosphere. Does that still stand up in 2016 now, or does it show its age in terms of? I know they've spruced it up, but does it lose anything having this kind of graphical upgrade?
I don't think it does. No, I really like it still. It does look pretty good. You would think it's a PS4 game. You wouldn't think it was a sort of an upgrade, if that sort of makes sense.
Right.
It looks sort of good. And And yeah, I just love it. I just really really like it, and the way it looks, and like you say, the tension and the setting of it,
Yeah.
just nothing like it. And I like that the period it's sort of set in. It never gives you a period in which it's set. It doesn't give you a year, but it looks sort of like 1950s, 1960s, doesn't it? Sort of old school America.
Yeah. They did that with Fallout, didn't they? That's kind of like a 50s vibe.
Yeah.
That's obviously, but the tech's different there. It's same with Rapture, actually, isn't it? There's obviously all the technology. They've put all these brains of industries down under the water and created this city. But yeah, I mean, in terms of its mechanics, how does that hold up? Because I remember you being shocked that there's no dual wielding.
Yeah.
Just swapping between them.
That is a bit of a shock, but it's sort of, you just get used to it because of the way the game plays. After sort of an hour, you don't really think about it. You just crack on with it.
Yeah.
That does feel a little bit dated, that system, but like I say, once you start playing it, you do get used to it. And because of the whole, it's what the game is as well. I don't know. It just sort of adds to the game. Trying to shuffle between one and the other while someone's trying to throw a wrench at your head.
Yeah.
It's sort of part of the game and part of what makes it good, I think.
Yeah. One of the things that I actually enjoyed this because I don't like overly challenging myself on games sometimes. I just like to experience it. But there's no real penalty for dying, is there? Because you get revitalised in those chambers.
Vita chambers.
Vita chambers. And you lose, I think, a little bit of money, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't often see that these days. And I do wonder why that doesn't get picked up elsewhere. There really is no penalty. You can just keep trying and trying again, and eventually you'll run out of money. Does that ever take the edge off it when you get to a really difficult bit and you just get revitalised 5-6 times before you take down the Big Daddy?
Not really, no. I mean, it's sort of a punishment in a way because the health of the enemy does go up slightly,
right?
And you don't get your ammo back. So you've still got to kill put the thing down, but you haven't got. You probably used your best ammo on it already, so now you're using your pistol and stuff that's slightly shitter.
Yeah.
But I don't think the game is about that. It's the experience of the game. They want you to experience the game. They're not trying to make it incredibly hard. Although killing a Big Daddy is tough, but it's sort of they just want you to experience it, I think.
Yeah. So did you? I mean, one of the things with BioShock, one of the choices you get throughout the game, and it happens numerous times, is whether you want to harvest the little sisters for, I think it's called Adam, isn't it? The material they get, and that basically fills your plasmids and lets you upgrade quicker. Were you a spiteful bastard and harvest the little sisters, or did you stay in the good books and just release them?
No, I was good. I let them all live.
Did you do that first time round, or did you harvest them?
No, the first time round I needed everything.
What, you butchered them?
Yeah, every one of them, they were gone. And obviously, depending on what you do, it gives you a different ending, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it all factors in, depending on how many you do. It all factors into the end goal. So, I mean, it's a good little dynamic to have there and a choice to have. I was always on the good side, and I think I'd probably do the same again if I played it again. But that's your standout for the series, BioShock. Then we've got BioShock 2, which is on the disc as well. I didn't particularly like this one as much. You pretty much loved it still, more of the same, and you was happy with it. Why is that exactly? Because it is very, very similar to one, and it was. I think you can dual wield in this one, can't you?
You can. Yeah.
So that's the kicker.
I mean, I liked playing as a Big Daddy. I like that. I liked having the drill, the ratchet gun, things like that, and still being able to use plasmids. But the thing that I love about the game is just where it's set and how it's set and how it was such sort of a utopia, a lovely place to live, and they just fucked it with. They just really fucked it, and it just looks like carnage. It's all smashed to shit. It's leaking, and you're still wandering around trying to do stuff. I just love that setting. I think it's such a sort of an original setting to have a game that's set underwater but in a city, which I don't know. I just really like it.
Yeah, I mean it feels like it's lived in. Like if they've crafted that world really well, and that was always one of the standouts there. But yeah, BioShock 2 I never quite got on with, but you obviously enjoy the setting there, so more to come from that. Then we move on to the best one in the series, which is unanimous, which is BioShock Infinite.
That is crap. It's so bad, Infinite. I can't have you say it's so bad.
It's not. It is good. It's my favourite of the three. It's obviously no means the universal favourite, but that was my favourite, and I hated it for 5 hours to start with. And
I
then
can't
loved
believe that's your favourite. I just cannot believe it. It's just so.
Sick of that water. Get me out. Get me some colour.
Oh,
Can't
it's
breathe
so
in bloody
boring.
Rapture. There's no air. It's all dirt. It must be filthy down there. Live in the clouds, Colombia.
Oh,
Suspended in the air, mate. I can't believe
Terrible.
you hate this. I can't believe for a series that you love, 1 and 2, that you literally dislike Infinite so much.
it's just so boring. It's just I didn't understand what. I mean, I bought the game when it came out, and I was really excited, and I played it, and I played about 10 hours and sold it before I even finished it. I think I sold it like 3 days later because I was so pissed off with how bad it was. And then you said to me, this time you said, you've got to play through it, you get in the collection. And I went from start to finish, played it, and I was like, that's evil. I done it was better last time when I sold it after 3 days and made a 20 quid loss. I enjoyed it more that time than this time. That's how bad it was.
I don't understand. Because I feel like, and this is, the trouble with the human brain is your memory distorts things. But I feel like the mechanics were very similar, and I like the setting. So I can't believe that it's even if you strip away Columbia as a setting, why it's getting abused for its gameplay.
Because you're with a girl and she can make things appear and then make things disappear and
She can
uses
rip through time.
warp. Yeah, and I was like, so what's going on now? And then there was flashbacks of him in New York, and then.
Yeah.
And then there's two people. There's a bloke and a woman that follow you round, and they don't make any sense, and they're talking riddles, and they just get right up my nose. I was just like, oh my god, I've got to watch them. I don't give a fuck about what they're saying, but I've got to watch them. It just and it's nowhere near as scary or as spooky, and it's just like people are just the people you fight. They're just police. That's all they are, and there's not as many enemies. The variation of enemies isn't as good. There's no big daddies or little sisters. There's like these handymans with massive arms that jump about.
Yeah, fucking bastards. Actually, I remember those.
But yeah, it's just I just don't think it's anywhere near as good. Nowhere near.
Disappointing.
Really,
that is disappointing. That is.
Well,
because I actually really I like the story in that one.
Oh god.
So I won't obviously spoil what goes on, but I think that's far more has a much more overarching kind of feel to it. Story there, like the wider picture of it. But there is. Did you play through the DLC, which was I think called Burial at Sea? And this isn't in. I think it's set back in Rapture. Or at least one of them is anyway.
I mean, once I completed. What's it called? I've just erased it. Infinite.
Yeah.
I didn't play any DLC. None of it. BioShock 2's got one. Like an add-on bit.
Story is it?
Yeah, story. It begins with M. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that's really, really good.
Minerva's Den.
That's the one. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's worth going through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't touch any of the Infinite. I just got sick to death of it. It's binned a lot.
You've still got the collection though, haven't you? You haven't traded it yet.
I haven't traded it. Yeah. So
that would be my say to you: go and do Burial at Sea. I think it's got 2 episodes, and you'll be back in Rapture, loving life, and then we'll see.
Right, I might go back. I've got a lot on at the moment. A lot on.
You've got nothing on. All you've got is remasters going on, and that is what is in the collection there. Is there any other DLC related to BioShock? It's just BioShock 2 that's got.
BioShock 1 has got a little bit of DLC where it's not like a story driven thing, it's like a challenge, so it puts you in a room and there's just loads of enemies you have to go through and kill as many as you can, and they give you certain guns and bits like that. It's alright, kills a half hour, an hour, but it ain't going to change your life.
No, it's not. And that's what happened. That was one of the few gaming franchises when 2007 to 2013, and then that was it, gone.
I can't believe
it's weird, isn't it? Because they were all pretty good, apart from obviously you didn't like Infinite, but in general they got a good.
They were all sold well, didn't they? Yeah. So you would have thought that when PS4 or Xbox One come out, that would have been like a definite, really, wouldn't you, to re-release another one of those?
Yeah, I just can't. I think King Levine, who was headed up it, just sacked it in and said, "Look, not going to get done, I'm afraid," which is a shame because they were They were great games, and that was one of the new breed, wasn't it, of games that had come out. That was a brand new IP.
Yeah.
It hadn't been done before, and it's something that we've been lacking in this generation, particularly. We're seeing a lot of sequels.
Yeah.
And look, we all loved Uncharted 4. We've mentioned it already, but it's the fourth one of a series.
Yeah, but the Nathan Drake Uncharted 4 is the exception. But normally, as it goes on, it just gets worse and worse. No, I'm not either. Nathan Drake. Uncharted 4 was the best one out of all of them, and it's sort of gone better and better and better. But normally, like if you look at Batman, when Batman first came out, that was a new one. That was really good, and then they just slowly sort of grinded to a bag of shit now, haven't they?
Yeah, you was going to get the old Arkham Revisited, wasn't you?
Yeah, another remaster.
you still considering that?
No,
you do love those games.
I do. The first two are fantastic, but after I read the reviews of it, they just basically said that it's too bright.
Yeah,
they haven't really
everything.
Yeah, it kills the mood. It's like, I don't know. It's not as dark and as sort of, I don't know what the word is. Sort of dreadful. Yeah, sort of grimy.
I don't know what they've done there. They made a right hash of that.
Yeah,
it should be the easiest of things.
Yeah,
but it sounds like they've not made a hash of BioShock though.
BioShock is just exactly the same. Nothing has changed. They've just improved the graphics slightly and given you everything in one bag.
Yeah.
But if you've never, I can't believe Loading has never played BioShock. I mean, that to me, I cannot believe he never got around to doing it.
FIFA then, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same now, but
Battlefield now. Battlefield Football Manager. That's what he's evolved to. No, but I've been saying to him to play through these because it's an education piece for him. But then someone mentioned the splicers might make him jump, and I think it put him off.
Yeah, Scrabblers.
They're not though, are they? They're just humans. Adam in them. They're not going to do any harm to you. But BioShock 1, definitely, you should play through. They will do harm to you. They'll cave your head in with a wrench. They get too close. But yeah, I mean, the concept of what you had there has not been even used again, and using the various plasmids to upgrade your character, and then combining them with traditional weapons and the environment. I remember one of my favourite things to do in BioShock was to get the electricity bolt and shoot it at people that are in the water, and it used to electrocute them all.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff like that it was just great. It's great at its time, and it sounds like it still holds up today, which is good or bad depending on your viewpoint. If you want things to move forward, you kind of think, well, how's that still holding up? We'd hope it was going to get better stuff, but excuse me, it stands the test of time, and it sounds like a good collection. Those that haven't played it, there's no excuses now. Go out and buy that collection. It's not expensive. It's free games. They're all, depending on your opinion, you should like at least two of them. And it's a great series, and one that you should all go out and experience. Another landmark title in the open world RPG genre was Skyrim Special Edition, and you've only just purchased that yesterday, so it's quite fresh. First of all, we know how much of a life zapper Skyrim has been. We've all been there. Why did you want to go through this again, of losing part of your life?
I mean, basically, I've got a lot of holiday coming. I've got a couple of weeks coming off. I've got nothing planned, and I thought sink a bit of life into that. That was basically it. But
sorry, go on.
Yeah, basically, I was saying got a lot to play at the moment, and I like the look of it. And I remember how good it was. And I just thought, have another crack at it, see what it looks like.
Do you know how many hours you put into Skyrim when it first came out?
Do you know what? I cannot remember. I was thinking about it the other day. I can remember Fallout 3 was a lot. And Fallout 4 I'd done quite a few, but I can't remember what it was in Skyrim. But it was a lot. It was a lot of hours.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd done, which isn't a lot when I think about what I've done in Fallout. I think I'd done 50 hours, which is pretty poor, really.
Yeah.
I actually I think I got about 30 hours in, and I stopped playing it for about a month. I don't know why, but I did. And then when I came back, I just wanted to get the story done. I hashed through that and then never went back to it, which is a bit disappointing, really, because there's so much to happen and do and to explore.
Yeah, there's loads to do on Skyrim, loads. Yeah. So good.
I mean, again, this was released in 2011, so what are we talking? 5 years, nearly 6 years now. What's your first impressions then of Skyrim remastered, the special edition?
When I put it in and turned it on and played it, I thought it looked really poor. I was really sort of.
Does it look worse than Fallout 4?
Yeah, a lot worse. Lot worse. Yeah, it just looks. It doesn't look as good. And then as I've sort of gone through the game a little bit more, the environment looks fantastic. Like the trees, there's like mist in it now.
Yeah.
The water, they look really good. The animals from a distance, but you get up close and look at someone's face, it's fucking garbage. It really is. It does. They really haven't done a great job on sort of the character animations and that. It doesn't look. It looks like an Xbox 360 game or a PS3 game. It really doesn't look sort of up to standard.
No, I mean that's the trouble with their games, Bethesda, is that even if you look at Fallout 4, sure the environment looked a lot better, but when the characters all move, they're all very stiff. Their faces still don't look great.
No,
and it's just they just don't seem that interested in.
I think a lot of it is just there's just so much going on, isn't there? I mean, it's not like you're concentrating on one character. There's about 50 people moving around in the background. There's horses, there's cows. It's all kicking off, isn't it, all the time?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's got anything to do with it. But yeah, they never look as good.
No. What race did you choose on this occasion? Did you choose just a standard like human, or did you go for like a witch or any magic, or what did you?
Nah, not really into it. I think I went for. I'm an elf. That's it. I'm an elf.
An elf.
Good with a bow and arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, the bow and arrow is good on that. 'Cause I think it's even got. I can't remember if they added it later on. I think they patched it in. It was like a kill cam. So sometimes when you kill an enemy with the bow, it will do like a cool camera shot.
Yeah, like they did on Fallout.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, it is on there. I've added it a couple of times, and then sometimes you get like a critical kill with a sword, and it slows it all down. He does like a special little move and chops the head off, and that it's pretty good.
Yeah. So how many hours should you put into this then? About 2, 3, if that?
No, but yeah, about 2, 3. Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah.
Can you see yourself continuing with Skyrim, or do you think it'll just get dropped if something pops out of the woodwork or VR kicks off?
No, I can see me going through it. I really like it, and there's loads of DLC as well. There's like 3 DLCs to do. You can ride dragons this time. I never got that before.
Right.
You can build your own house. That's something new apparently. And there's one where you have something to do with vampires. You can either be a vampire or not be a vampire and kill the vampires.
Yeah, Vampire Slayer. I remember one of your stories from playing Skyrim the first time was that you somehow got infected, turned into a vampire, didn't you? And it really fucked your game up for about 3 hours when you was trying to get a cure.
Yeah, you couldn't go out in the day, and it was just really fucking annoying.
And all the NPCs would turn on you and just kill you as soon as they saw you.
All the shops would shut, and then when they opened, you'd go in, and then they'd just fucking start beating you up because you were a vampire. And it literally, you have to do a massive quest. It's like about 3 hours long to get a cure to not be a vampire. Yeah. And I just wanted to make some armor. And in the end, I wanted to just make a helmet, and it took me about 4 hours to do it by the time I'd done the quest to cure being it's a fucking pain in the arse that was, but it was quite funny.
Are you quest hunting is what I call it, or are you just kind of wandering around freely?
No, I just always wander. Just go for a wander, see what happens, see where it takes me. That's why I like that sort of Bethesda games. It's the same in Fallout. I never follow the story, just have a wander around, and then every if I get bored, I'll go back to the story and have a look and then it opens up something new.
Yeah, that's typically what does happen. And the thing about Skyrim and that is that you can wander into a place where you're really under-leveled and just get executed on arrival.
Yeah, I got trampled by a woolly mammoth yesterday.
Did you?
Didn't even get the fucking sword out before I was dead. It trampled me to nothing.
I'll tell you what it was that used to always get me is those frost yetis or those snow yetis. They used to fuck me every time I saw them. They used to fuck me up. Even when I was a higher level, they were tough bastards. I remember them taking a beating.
Yeah, giants are the same. You get fucking clobbered one of their clubs. That's a game over.
Yeah, that is game over. I've been playing through the Fallout DLC. I've just finished Far Harbour. I'm going to start Nuka Cola World or whatever it's called. I'll probably start it today. And I was thinking, am I interested in Skyrim Special Edition? And I thought, not with this on my plate still, because there's a certain time for those games.
It's like having a second job. It's like having a part-time job.
You're not selling it to people,
and you don't get paid for it.
No. Skyrim, obviously, Elder Scrolls 5, so it's the 5th one in the series, and it's just Skyrim is the world that it's set in. Is there anything that you'd, just sort of checking back in with Skyrim, what you'd like to see in the next entry of the Elder Scrolls? franchise, because they're obviously working on it. It's one of their Skyrim and Fallout, like they're two big self-published and self-developed games that, you know, just sell gangbusters and get, you know, great scores from them, and put Bethesda in a great place.
One thing I'd like to see is on Fallout you have the VAT system.
Yeah.
And you can choose body parts, and I'd like to see that on this with a bow and arrow with a sword. I think it'd just give it another sort of different, because it's quite sort of hard sometimes to kill some certain people. I think just to be able to freeze time and just pick something and do something like that would help a bit. But I don't know if that's what they do with Fallout, and they keep the line down the centre and keep them separate, and that sort of separates them. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that'd be quite a good addition.
No, yeah, I would, that'd be a good, especially for the bow, because the amount of times I'd miss and waste fucking arrows.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely get on my nerves trying to do that. But I don't know when we'll see the Elder Scrolls 6 or what it'll be like. But if it looked, you know, like and felt like a Fallout 4, all the characters were still stiff, and although they looked passable, the faces on the characters didn't look that great. Would you be disappointed? Or
I mean, it does need to get better, because they can't keep just.
They can.
Well, yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
But
there comes a point where we'll have to upgrade it and make it look better, because at the moment it just doesn't look good enough. But the environment looks fantastic. I mean, like you're saying, Fallout 4 it looked amazing as well. All the trees. But yeah, I think they do need to pick up the graphics a bit with the faces.
One of the big changes they made to Fallout 4 was that your character had a voice. So when you choose a dialogue choice or whatever you choose, he would obviously speak the line. Coming from Fallout 4 back to Skyrim, has that been annoying that you can no longer hear what your character's saying? Or are you happier that you've got specific dialogue and you know exactly what he's going to say at any given moment because you're choosing the words?
I prefer not hearing it, because I've read it already and I've chosen a response. Now I've got to listen to it again. With Skyrim, I don't have to. I read it. I've done it. That's bit done. Now let him talk.
Respond.
I don't need to hear it twice.
No.
And also on Fallout, there was a bit of confusion sometimes where it'd read something and he would say it slightly different. I went, oh, that's not what I thought he meant by that sentence. Yeah, and he says it Aggie or something. He gets a bit shirty with it, and I'm like, oh, I've misread what you said there.
Yeah, there's a bit of you could mistranslate what it was suggesting, and I had that a few times, and he'd act like a bit of a cock, and I'd be like, well, that's not what I was going for. Whereas with the words, you're choosing exactly what. I felt like it feels like it's a bit more open, a bit more free. I don't know if that's just a mentality, but I felt like there's more choice there. Yeah. Because in Fallout, you only ever had 4 responses. You know, one was typically like a nice response, one was an ironic response, the other one was a question, and then the last one was like a shitty response. Whereas with Skyrim, I remember some dialogue options, you get like 5-6 options to choose from, and I kind of prefer that in a way.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of makes it a little bit more yourself and your own character. So that's it. That is all the subjects you've been brought on for. Before you leave, though, to try and cure this lack of game and having to buy remasters, I'm going to go through next week's game releases. Right. And we're gonna pick out and see if there's anything that you want to play. Okay. So here we go. Tuesday, the 29th of November, Final Fantasy 15.
I'm not a big fan of like that sort of
Japanese.
You played one? I have. I played fun. What's the one that everyone talks about?
7.
Cloud 7. I played that on PS1.
Finished it?
No. Bought it second hand from Game Station, and the third disc was scratched. I didn't know, so I played the first 2 discs. Put the third one in. It's fucked. So I got proper fucked over with that. So I only played the first 2 discs, I can't remember which way, but one of the discs didn't work, so I couldn't finish it.
God, what a disaster!
Yep. Always check extra discs. Check them ones first, then check the first one. Otherwise, you will be stunned.
Oh dear. Did you enjoy what you played of that? Did you want to finish it, or was it?
Yeah, I did. It was probably the first game that was sort of turn-based combat that I ever played. And I did enjoy it. I thought it was really good, and the way you could level up your character and then, just find something really small, and once you were like really high level, just fucking knock 7 bells of shit out of it, just really crush it. And it was just I don't know, I just like that power.
Yeah. So this one, Final Fantasy 15, is going to use real-time combat. I don't know if that looking at that, would that interest you more than a modern turn-based combat game, or would you be quite up for playing turn-based?
I know I'd rather it just stick to turn-based. I think that'd be quite good. But I'll have to have a look into it. I've not really looked into it that much. I'm not a big fan of sort of the Japanese games and all the, I don't know, the blokes that have really long weird hair, and I don't know, it's just not my sort of cup of tea. But
they're a lot of boy band members, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, really like, weird looking.
Like looking at a 21st century or 22nd century Boyzone or something. They're just, I don't know, dressed all weird. But yeah, different strokes, different folks.
Yeah. Then you got Star Trek Bridge Crew coming to PlayStation VR and I believe PC platforms. Now, are you a Trekker? Is the question here.
I mean, I like.
Is that what they call them, Trekkers? Have I made that up?
Trekkie?
When someone watches Trekkie? I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
When people
Are
watch
you a
that
Star Trek fan?
Yeah, I should have just done that.
Yeah, I'm not, I've watched a few films. It's alright, Star Trek, but it's not. I mean, I've read a review of this VR thing, and apparently it's like an experience. It's not a game, so you just sit there, and stuff's going on around you. You can't really change it.
Yeah, it's what working as a team, I think, is the main. It's like communicating. So you have to play it online, I think, is the main way to get out of that. And yeah, you're just shooting, directing the ship really, and working together to get it up and running. So that's not likely to get bought, is it?
No, that's not getting bought. No,
so that's on that list. A Trekkie or Trekker is a fan of the Star Trek franchise or of specific television series or films within that franchise.
There you go.
So if you're into that, that is what you are.
Trekkie or Trekker.
Was Dr. Spock half human or half Vulcan? We will let you decide on that one. Watch Dogs 2. Now it's coming out on PC. This is what the release is for that. So that had a 2-week delay because Ubisoft can't release their PC ports in a decent state, it seems. Getting quite decent reviews. I spoke about the review debacle last week with Logan, but the actual game itself is looking like it's shaping up pretty well. Open world. Now I know you were burnt by Watch Dogs, the original.
I was fucking third degree. I was really burnt. Yeah.
You hate it that much?
It wasn't. I don't know. It promised so much, and I just thought they. That's the problem with it's Ubisoft, isn't it? That make it.
Yeah.
The problem with them, I always find they make a really good trailer. Their trailer team is fucking incredible, but their actual game making team ain't that good.
All the Assassin's Creeds, mate.
Again, you watch the trailers; they all look fantastic. You get hold of some of them, and they are garbage.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed 3, yeah, the Tom Rourke.
No, the Tom Rourke was the daddy. That was the main one.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, Watch Dogs 2. I mean, did you finish the first Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I did finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like a chore towards the end.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
To the back end of it. But this looks like they kind of refreshed it a little bit. That boring bastard's gone.
Yeah.
Aidan Pierce, he's not going to be messing around. So this has to be. I remember you was asking about it and was talking, having some dialogue about it. This surely was a contender before you went out and got Skyrim.
Yeah, I did think about getting it, but I read something about the stealth and it put me off. I didn't like it.
Right.
I think I spoke about it with you when you have like two different modes of stealth on it. So there's one where you're using a computer and you'll have like a drone or a remote control car, and that you have to like enter a building using one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's really good. But if you're actually on foot using stealth, it's really shit apparently. If you get seen for like a second, a geezer, say there's a room of 15 blokes and you get seen by one of them by a second, everyone knows where you are immediately, and that is the most frustrating thing in the world for me. I hate games like that.
Does that not happen quite often though with games where they kind of do that?
Yeah, I mean I'm
trying to think of like Metal Gear Solid, and I can't think whether that was still the case there.
No, because they could spot you, and the exclamation mark could come up, and you could shoot them. And as long as it was a silenced weapon, no one would know you were there. You might create a little fuss, and they go, "Oh, what was that noise?" But they wouldn't automatically just start fucking shelling the shit out of you because one bloke saw a shadow. Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed used to do it. I remember it used to drive up the wall. Every bloke in a 10-mile radius knew where you were because one person saw you.
Steaming out of their post, wouldn't they, and chase you up the rooftops?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that really frustrates me. That does. So that's why I've been put off by that.
Oh, that's disappointing. I mean, yeah. I mean, I look and see how the PC port is and whatnot, but just got Gears 4, so that's what's going to be played on that for now anyway. So Watch Dogs in the maybe pile, Watch Dogs 2 anyway, maybe a post-Christmas purchase. Then we move all the way to Friday the 2nd of December. Steep, which is, I don't know if you've seen this, it is like a snowboarding, skiing and wingsuit game.
Yeah, I've
Ubisoft again, so no stealth to worry about. Good trailers though.
Yeah, good trailer.
I played the open beta, as did quite a lot of the other guys in Dimp. Mixed response, positive, but I don't think anyone sat there and went, yeah, that's worth 50 quid or 45 quid.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the problem with this one. Just looking at it, you think, I don't know if I'd want to pay all that money for that game. It's more of a side game that you'd pick up for cheaper, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I saw it in game. I saw a photo of it, and I looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, right." It's just one of those things that I just took no notice of. I was like, "That's never going to get bought." No. When was the last time anyone made an amazing snowboarding game?
Well, yeah, been a while, isn't it? SSX probably.
Yeah, back in like PlayStation 1 days. We're on PlayStation 4 now, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, maybe this will be a gate opening for that franchise to come back. They might be, if they see this is popular still, someone might revive that.
Problem is in England, I mean, it's the wrong sort of market, isn't it? I mean, unless you go skiing on holiday, we don't have snow in England. No one goes really snowboarding, do they? So
we don't have snow in England.
Well, we don't have
famous last words.
We don't have
it fucking snowed in this winter now.
We don't go snow, but if it snows in England, the fucking country just comes to a halt. You don't go out and grab your skis, do you? That's what I'm saying. No. It's not it's not the sort of, I don't know, unless you're like go on holiday and go skiing, you ain't really interested in it.
No, but sometimes games offer experiences for people that can't do things like that or haven't got the money. Like you can vicariously do skiing for a game. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's overly popular. I don't think the games will be overly popular. I can't see it selling that well, but I'll be happily proved wrong on that front. The next 3 games are on 3DS, which you haven't got, so there's no point getting an opinion on them. But one is Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS. Next one is Picross 3D Round 2. Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD. Shin Megami Tensei. Is that 4? Yep. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse on 3DS. Does that lineup make you want to go out right now and buy a 3DS?
No, it sounds like a number for a printer or something, or a fax machine you had to find in your office. Doesn't sound like a game.
No, it's a weird one. Last one, and I think this has got to be. I don't know how this has missed your radar, but it's called The Dwarves on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
I've never heard of this. This is new. What's this?
To be honest, I've never heard of it. That was more of a joke on it. I'm not really sure what it is. Just saw that it's getting saw that it was getting released and thought, let's see if he's been looking out for things like that. But
no, I've missed all hype on the Dwarves. No trailers. Need to get Ubisoft involved.
Yeah, well, speak of Ubisoft, actually, one of the things that they have come out and said, and also Respawn, who do the Titanfall franchise, used to do Call of Duty when there was an Under Infinity Ward. They've both come out and said that they plan to rely on cosmetic microtransactions to fund new DLC. So what that means is, you know how typically you'll buy a game now and you have a campaign and then you'll have add-on DLC, that's 10, 15 quid story-based stuff.
Yeah.
What they're saying now is what they'll do is not do that, is have that DLC built into the model, like so you pay 50, 40 quid, you'll get that at some point in the future, but there will be cosmetic microtransactions in there, so the money's going to go, hopefully come from there. I did want to just get your opinion on that, because I know I've complained specifically about season passes and how expensive they are. When you look at Battlefield 1, and I think it's 50 quid for the game and the season pass is 40 quid. And you go, what's that all about? That's absurd. For like a couple of map packs, it'll be like 4 or 5 over a few years. Do you think this is a better way for them to manage it for the end consumer? I.e., you've only got to buy stuff for cosmetics if you want it. It's not going to change your game experience, and you should be getting the future DLC, for free.
So sorry, So
Lost you, know.
basically, if you wanted a gun that looks different to the normal gun, you pay for that, but you
Yep.
don't pay for the DLC. The DLC just comes as standard.
That's it. So you won't pay for a new map pack, you won't pay for a new add-on to the game, but you will pay for cosmetics, like you said, like an armor or a gun or whatever it is, an outfit. It might be.
That to me is, that's so much better than what they do at the moment. I mean, season passes are just an absolute rip-off. I mean, I can't believe. Well, I mean, people will buy them obviously because they love the game, but there's no guarantee. I mean, you could buy a season pass and something could happen. The market could crash and the fucking company could fold, and then you just pay 40 quid for nothing. I mean, it's very rare that's going to happen, but it ain't impossible. Do you know what I mean? If it happened, I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
So I mean, I just like to buy a game and have the game. When the Xbox 360 come out, that is when it started happening. Where with Call of Duty and the map packs, and you buy map packs, and then you could buy guns and shit like that. I never used to like that. You buy a game, that's the game you buy, that's the game you get.
Yeah.
Chuck all the deal. Yeah, basically, I'm not a big fan of it. I must admit.
Yeah, I think where they've woken up is if you look at Grand Theft Auto 5, that has no performance related paid stuff, but you can go in, you can buy those shark cards which give you money essentially.
Yeah.
And then obviously that money you can use to buy items in the game. So I guess there is a pay to win element to that, but they've made an absolute killing off of that. The amount of people that are spending money on that, and they've supported the GTA Online with about 50 updates that's been out.
It just makes so much more sense to do that, because then if you release everything for free, then everybody who buys the game from day one will keep the game. Like I've got GTA 5 still, and you'll keep playing it. You'll keep getting sort of into the game, and then a new release will come out, and then you'll play it. You might put it down for 2 months, keep hold of the game. A new release comes out, play it, and then you'll see someone online, and they're saying, you think, oh fuck me, I'll get that. It looks quite cool. And I just think it's I mean that model, obviously the rest of the companies are waking up to it now and thinking, oh my god, GTA made a killing, because they're not trying to be greedy bastards. No. Even though they are making money hand over foot. But it's a better model to base it on than what these other real robbing bastards are doing.
Unfortunately, Biff dropped his phone at this point, and the call cut out. And so I rejoined the Skype call, and we just finished up, had a quick chat. I think I mentioned that first-person shooters, for example, will benefit from this model where you're not segregating your multiplayer maps to season pass and DLC buyers and non-buyers. If you give everyone the access to the maps, your community will stay together. And then we just wrap things up as we usually do here at Dimp Digital, and for some reason that second part didn't get recorded. As I said, it was only 3 minutes and me doing the usual closure, so you didn't miss much there, so apologies for that. But obviously if you want to find out what we are up to in the week whilst we're not recording this podcast, head over to dimpdigital.com, where you'll find our written audio and video content for our work. That's it for now though. Game over. It's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time, and ta-da.